Nadya Tolokonnikova was sentenced to prison in Russia when she was only 22 years old. She is a founding member of a punk band whose name you have heard me say uncomfortably several times now on this show. Nadya Tolokonnikova is a founding member of the group Pussy Riot. For staging a musical anti-Putin protest at an Orthodox cathedral in Moscow, Nadya and two of her bandmates were charged in 2012 with hooliganism. They look like hooligans to you? They were convicted and sentenced to 2 years in prison. Ms. Tolokonnikova does not live in Russia anymore, but she very well may live inside Vladimir Putin's head. In 2021, the Russian government labeled her a foreign agent. In 2023, Russia put her on the most wanted list after a protest art action called Putin's Ashes. Later that year, Russia made a show of arresting her in absentia, which is not a thing. This year in the United States, Nadya Tolokonnikova recreated her old Russian prison cell as art. She was just settling into her new exhibit at the Los Angeles Museum of Contemporary Art when Donald Trump ordered National Guard troops and U.S. Marines into Los Angeles. With the resulting protests outside and a curfew in place, the museum decided to close, which is why Ms. Tolokonnikova ended up not inside her own police state exhibit in the Museum of Contemporary Art, but ultimately outside, protesting Trump in the streets of Los Angeles, holding a big banner that reads, "It's beginning to look a lot like Russia." When facing down an authoritarian regime or a would-be authoritarian takeover of a previously democratic country, it helps to know what to look for. If you followed the march of this president on American cities, the so-called blitzing and sweeping of American cities, then you know that after Los Angeles came Chicago, right? Federal agents began swarming the streets of Chicago in early September, arresting thousands of people, most of them people with no criminal record whatsoever. The people of Chicago responded with whistles and car horns and prayer circles amid the tear gas. And downtown at the Museum of Contemporary Art, Chicago, there was Nadya Tolokonnikova getting ready for another staging of her police state exhibit with a recreation of her Russian prison cell in another city facing a show of force by this American president. While she was in the Chicago Museum being the artist inside the police state, the Russian government decided to take yet another swipe at her. On Friday, the government of Russia moved to declare Pussy Riot an extremist organization, as if they're like Al-Qaeda or something. And from inside the Chicago Museum, Nadya Tolokonnikova responded. She wrote, quote, "I'm in the middle of a durational performance called Police State at MCA Chicago now. All day long, I'm sewing police uniforms and mixing live sound at the installation that resembles a Russian prison cell, a piece that's meant to warn about surveillance authoritarianism spreading around the world like a virus. Singing in the streets is not extremism. Doing street actions is not extremism. Extremism is invading other countries and committing war crimes. Being anti-fascist and wearing a Pikachu costume is not extremism." She says, quote, "And if telling the truth is extreme, then hold my Red Bull." Joining us now here on set is Nadya Tolokonnikova. She's an artist, a musician, and a founding member of Pussy Riot. A book documenting her police state exhibit comes out next week. You can pre-order it now, along with a 7-inch record, which might be the most punk thing ever said on The Rachel Maddow Show, after the name of your band. Nadya, thank you so much for being here.
I wanted to give you the mask so you could be an extremist as well.
Oh, that is very kind of you.
Welcome to Pussy Riot.
That is, I treasure it. Thank you very much. It means a lot to me.
What is scary in Russia for wearing this, once we are going to become officially an extremist organization, you can actually go to jail for that.
For having something that identifies you with Pussy
Exactly,
Riot.
for having it at home, even not wearing, if they find it at home.
What's the difference between the way that you and other members of the group have been individually targeted? I mean, you've spent time in prison. You and your colleagues have been arrested. The individual targeting of you, what's the difference between that and this declaration that the group itself is extremist?
This declaration means they want to erase us from public consciousness. Because even though Russian authorities claim that we can't really influence Russian people's minds from the outside, they made us escape our own country, live in exile. I guess it still gets to people's minds and hearts, and by calling the entire organization illegal, you can't mention us without saying that this organization is forbidden on the territory of Russia, and you can't say anything good about it because otherwise it's going to be supporting extremism. Our supporters, relatives might be in trouble. If you send us any money, even 1 cent, you are going to be sent to prison for extremism. If you post on Twitter or Facebook, same thing.
Recently, our president used an executive order to try to declare Antifa, which is just a general term that means anti-fascist, a terrorist organization. And the reaction to that in the United States has mostly been dismissive because people think that it's not operable. It's nothing that they can act on. But it sounds to me like it's very much in keeping with the type of playbook that you and your colleagues are up against. I wonder if you think that we're being... if we're asleep at the wheel, if we're not taking these things seriously enough here.
Yes, it seems a lot like Americans prefer not to notice the destruction of democracy that is happening right in front of your nose. And it all starts with scapegoating certain groups of people. In Russia, it's not just Pussy Riot, obviously, it's all the supporters of Alexei Navalny, and recently it was LGBTQ plus movement labeled as an extremist organization. What does that supposed to mean? And people are laughing at it until it's not funny anymore, and people are dying in jail for being part of LGBTQ plus. So it gives the government tools to pick and choose who they want to punish. And no, not everyone who calls themselves anti-fascist is going to go to jail, but if Trump doesn't like you specifically, he will find a way how to use this law against you.
You've traveled around the United States a lot, including for this current art project and these museum exhibitions that you've been doing. What do you make about the American people's resistance right now, our level of consciousness about the threat that we're under, and the tactics that the American people have adopted so far in terms of trying to say no?
I was really impressed by the people of Chicago. They feel a little bit less asleep than people in Los Angeles, even though the No Kings protest was absolutely amazing and very creative. I think right now you live under a lot of pressure, but you are in a beautiful moment when under pressure you can produce beautiful art, beautiful protest actions. You know, this pressure can actually help you to be productive. But you have to understand that there will be a moment when you won't going to be able to do all this stuff. So from 2010 to 2018, we were able to be active and creative and happy building community in Russia. And then at some point, we all got pushed out of our country. So if you ask me about a lesson that you can learn from Russians, I think the main lesson would be don't cancel each other. Talk to different groups of people within the opposition and try to build a broader coalition, because I think that was one of our biggest mistakes.
Nadya Tolokonnikova, artist, musician, founding member of Pussy Riot. This does mean a lot to me, and I'm honored that you're here. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good luck to you.
Thank you.
All right. We'll be right back. Stay with us.